Welcome everyone, another edition of Let's Hit the Ring, Jack. It's Let's Hit the Ring because this week we're doing wrestling videos, so we got to theme it appropriately. But if you're here looking for my regular theme park content or some of my other content that I do, don't go away, don't unsubscribe. It's all coming real soon. I'm going to go over some programming notes, but I had to take a little bit of time off from my videos just to refocus myself on work. I took the day off today because of some, let's just say, challenging situations that are not fun at all. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. But overall, it's going well at work. But, you know, sometimes you go to work and you have bad days. And so today I just took the day off. But anyway, through no fault of my own. Just leave that there, okay? But anyway, took a little time off over the holidays to kind of refocus and focus on some bills, kind of come up with a plan of how I'm going to handle my schedule at work versus doing YouTube videos. So anyway, kind of refocus things. And if you're looking for theme park content, don't worry, it's coming. Lots is coming. Lots. What a big year for theme parks. Star Wars Land, first and foremost, coming. We got new attractions at every theme park here in Southern California. So stay tuned. We're going to see it all. That includes Disneyland, California Adventure, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and even SeaWorld. And Universal Studios. All of those. We're going to get to all of them. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. My work schedule has not been... it's kind of been in the way of being able to get to some of these parks I've been wanting to go in January, but it just hasn't worked out. But as soon as it works out, we're going to be doing a lot of that stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned, coming real soon, so don't worry about that. Make sure you're subscribed up there. But that being said, we're going to be doing wrestling videos this week, starting with this video, Monday Night Raw. And by the way, I did publish a schedule, kind of a video schedule that I wanted, and I'm already behind on my first video. Just because of life gets in the way, and sometimes you just don't want to do a video. You're not in the mood, or you're too tired, or you need to get sleep. So that's why this video is late. But tonight we're doing this Monday Night Raw review. Tonight we're also going to be doing the SmackDown review. So if you're watching this video, stay tuned, because very shortly, within a couple hours or so, SmackDown is also going to be posted. Then I'm going to watch NXT. That review video will be up probably tomorrow morning, if everything goes well. Then we're going to do a Royal Rumble preview video and an NXT TakeOver preview video. And then after those shows happen this weekend, we're going to do, of course, the NXT TakeOver review video, and then, of course, the Royal Rumble review video. And bonus, by the way, write this on your calendar. Meet and greet with yours truly. Come on out this Sunday, the Royal Rumble, and watch it with me at Dave & Buster's in Los Angeles. It's on Hollywood Boulevard. I will be there. Starts at 4 o'clock. The pre-show starts at 2 o'clock. I will be there starting at 2. I'm not sure if they're going to be showing the pre-show or not there at Dave & Buster's. Not sure. But I'll be there regardless. But starting at 4 o'clock, they're showing the Royal Rumble, so I'll be there between 2 to 8, roughly. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, Dave & Buster's, Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. Come on out. I'll be there this Sunday for the Royal Rumble. And let's have a good time. I'm going to be drinking a lot of beer. There's going to be lots of wrestling fans there. It's going to be awesome. And by the way, it's free. Just come on out. Just come on out and show up. Make sure you get there early to get a seat. I'm not sure how many fans are going to show up or not show up, or if it's... We'll find out, I guess. But I'm looking forward to it. So write that down on your calendar this Sunday to watch the Royal Rumble. And I'll probably be doing a video or a vlog. And once I get home from that, that will be part of my review video. Some shots from Dave & Buster's. And then my review video will be posted probably Monday morning. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into my review video, I wanted to talk about the wrestling videos that I do. And I wanted to thank everyone that's been watching. I did an experiment right around the Survivor Series. By the way, what a cool shirt. It was a fun event at the Staples Center. 4 nights of wrestling in a row. And it was a good time. But I wanted to do an experiment. And I had met up with the owner of a website. His name is Aaron Rift, and he owns NoDQ.com. That's where I get a lot of my wrestling news and information. NoDQ.com. And Aaron Rift and Jeff Meacham were celebrating a 20-year anniversary. Can you believe that? It's been around for 20 years. Man, I've been watching that website for a lot of years, and watching shows like Talk Wrestling and good stuff, man. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend check out NoDQ.com. But I met up with them and I told them, yeah, I started up my YouTube channel. One of my first videos I did was a wrestling review video, and it got no views. And he told me, maybe you should try it again. And you got more views and subscribers now. Maybe you should try it again and see what happens. So I said, okay, I'll try it out. I said, well, I'll try it, but if I'm not getting views or subscribers, what's the point? So I'll see how it goes. If I get views and subscribers, then I'll do more videos. And if I don't get views and subscribers, then I'm wasting my time, right? So I won't do. Anyway, I was happy with. I got several new subscribers and views. I wanted to thank everybody that watched my video, tuned in for my wrestling videos. It was a lot of fun to do. I took a lot of those videos down simply because the quality was bad. I tried to do these videos in a live stream format, and the laptop computer I have, I bought this laptop because my desktop took a dump and stopped working, and I needed a quick replacement, so I went down to Walmart and bought the cheapest laptop they had, and that's going on, I don't even know how many years ago that was, and I'm still using the thing. Man, it's getting my money's worth out of this thing. I think I paid $300 or $400, and that was at least 5 or 6 years ago, if not longer. And but anyway, I tried to do the live stream with that, and the quality was just terrible, and it was pixelated, and it just was terrible. So and then it would cut in and out in future videos. So I then tried to do some live streaming using my phone. I got a brand new phone that should work. Well, the video quality was a lot better. But the YouTube streaming app would just crash in the middle of my videos. It would just crash and shut down. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So I'm not sure why it's crashing. I submitted a report to YouTube, but maybe we'll try it again in the future. But for now, I just decided I do want to do more of the wrestling videos, but it's going to have to be a recorded version. So unfortunately, there's not a live chat associated with that. But feel free to use the comment section below. Of course, you can contact me on all of my social media outlets. Listed below in the description of the YouTube description box, you can find all my social media, including Patreon. If you do want to donate financially, of course, that's optional. But I just ask that you subscribe to my YouTube channel first and foremost. That would be awesome if you do that. But anyway, so we're going to do... I do want to do more of the wrestling review videos, so here we go. I am going to do it for the pay-per-views only, the big four. I'm not going to do these all the time unless they become wildly popular, but I'll do the weeks surrounding the big four pay-per-views. So that's the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, SummerSlam is next, and then Survivor Series. So those 4 pay-per-views 4 times a year, I'll do wrestling videos for that week. That'll be Raw, SmackDown, NXT takeovers, and of course the big show. So so just a few times a year I'll be doing the review videos. So stay tuned for those. Normally, the product has been so bad, I just don't even watch Raw and SmackDown very often anymore. So except around the big 4 pay-per-views, I'll check them out. But that being said, thanks for watching. We're going to get into some reviews here in a second. But lots to talk about in wrestling, man. Let's start getting into this. Lots to talk about. One more time, though. Join me, Dave and Buster's, this Sunday for the Royal Rumble. This Sunday at 4 p.m. in Los Angeles. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk about, first of all, the general state of WWE. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Just had dinner a little bit ago. Now it's... anyway. Anyway, man, the ratings. Since we did the Survivor Series video, the ratings have been, they've been steadily declining for years anyway. But man, they've hit rock bottom. Worst they've ever been. And a lot of people are talking about the early to mid 90s, how bad wrestling was back then. A lot of it was the cartoonish characters that would come out, Mantar and these kind of things. Just terrible. And you could argue that some of the talent wasn't very good. Of course, they had great talent coming up, like The Rock and Stone Cold and these legendary guys, but they had a lot of talent that was just ridiculously bad. And, man, this time around, well, after that happened, you know, WCW started coming up, and they started their own Monday night show, Monday Nitro. And the very first Monday Nitro, up to that point, Monday Night Wrestling was taped ahead of time, and then they aired on Monday nights. Well, the very first Monday Nitro, you turn on WWF Monday Night Raw, and there was Lex Luger. Lex Luger was on it. He was one of the main event guys. And well, you turn on the very first ever Monday Nitro, which was live, aired live. Out comes Lex Luger. That was the big shock. Like, what's Lex Luger doing there, right? Well, his contract had ended in that week in WWF, and WCW signed him a new contract, offered big money, and there he was. So there you are on the same Monday night watching Lex Luger on WWF and their competitor WCW, and everyone was talking about it, man. Everyone was talking about WCW. So, and then off we went on the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, DX, NWO. It was great. It was fantastic. Anyway, of course, we all know WCW went out of business, and here we are all these years later. Of course, when WCW went out of business, everybody knew it. From the early 90s, they all remembered, oh man, if WWF, or WWE now, they've changed to WWE in 2001, man, if they don't have that competition now, are they going to go back to that bad product that was before WCW came up? Well, here we are, and the answer is yep. Complacency, laziness, bad television, bad writing. Why? Because they don't have any competition. That's how it is. So the ratings have been garbage. The ratings have been the worst ever. Ratings have been in the toilet. The writers, they're horrible. God. It's surprising how this stuff gets on television, a lot of this stuff, which we'll get into, including this week on Monday Night Raw. But we'll get into some of that. But the ratings, all-time lows for 6 weeks in a row or something like that. But in the meantime, another wrestling promotion is up and coming, and everyone's talking about it, and it's called All Elite Wrestling. And, man, Cody Rhodes, formerly Stardust, he's kind of spearheading the whole thing. They've got all these great independent wrestlers. They did put on a show before they were officially called All Elite Wrestling. They put on a show in partnership with a lot of the indie wrestling promotions. Sold out at the stadium in fast. 10,000 seat stadium. Very successful show. Fantastic. So they've decided we're going to start a company. They're sick of this stale wrestling product from WWE, and they've got Tony Khan, which is a billionaire, financing the whole thing. And they're not necessarily going to be a direct competitor to WWE, rather than an alternative product that wrestling fans have been wanting to see for years. So everyone's looking forward to it. Just a smarter wrestling product that fans want to see. We don't want to see cartoonish comedy skits. We don't want to see authority figures. We don't want to see, we want to see wrestling, good wrestling, great storytelling. That's what we want to see. So it's called All Elite Wrestling. It's coming up. They just officially formed the company. They're still signing talent, including Chris Jericho is their number. There's a top talent that they signed. More to come, I'm sure. But rumors are a lot of the talent in WWE is very unhappy. They don't want to be there anymore, but they're stuck in their contracts. So as soon as several of them have asked for their release. I'm sure WWE's not going to grant that because, man, they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. Because if they grant the release, they're going to go to all Elite Wrestling. If they don't grant the release, well, the wrestlers are going to be even that more unhappy, and they're going to go over there anyway when their contract is up. So, feels a lot like the old WCW when it was up and coming. A lot of talent's going to be jumping over there, and they're going to have a major cable deal. That should be announced anytime. They're going to announce their television deal, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Of course, later this fall, SmackDown's going to be moving over to Fox on Fridays. Or is it Thursdays? Fridays. I think it's Fridays. Might be Thursdays, but so that opens up that Tuesday spot for a primetime wrestling show. So anyway, looking great for All Elite Wrestling. I've got my eyes on it. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. So keep an eye on that. So, man, kind of an exciting year for wrestling if you look at it. But let's get into Monday Night Raw. But before we do that, one of the benefits of doing a recorded video versus a live stream is that... Hold on a second. Nah, I don't like it. Do you like this? It's kind of... God, it's plain, isn't it? It's kind of plain and drab. I don't like it. Let me think on this for a second. Hold on a minute. Wait. What should we do? Oh, I know. Watch this. This is going to be cool. Okay, I'm just going to move over a little bit like this. Yeah, this is... Oh, right there. Right there. That's going to be the spot right there. Okay, ready? Here we go. Ready? All right, we're going to do a countdown, and it's going to be like magic. It's going to be awesome. You ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Look at that! Wow! Look! Oh, man! Look at that logo right there. Is that beautiful? Wow! Man! Woo! I like it. Snazzy, man. I'm telling you. So one of the benefits about doing a recorded video versus a live stream is I can put these cool graphics on, make it look real nice. The quality's way better. A lot of fun. So we can put images right here. You know, doing the live stream was challenging because I was trying to manage doing projecting images to my 4K TV, which is really bright. So I'd have to take my 4K TV and change the settings, lower this brightness all the way down, and then be messing with the laptop, and then when I'm done I have to turn the brightness back up, and then it's just a pain in the butt to try to work. So the benefits to this is I can just do it all in post. I don't have to worry about messing with the laptop and all that stuff. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I can always change things up if you don't like it. So before we start, I just want to ask everybody, first of all, thank you so much for watching my videos. All I ask is you hit subscribe. If you don't have a Google account, please create one and hit subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Once I get to 100 subscribers, I can make a custom URL, which means youtube.com/letshittheroadjack. That's what I really want to do. Can't do that till I have 100 subscribers. Then after that, once I get 1,000 subscribers, I can monetize my videos. Man, that would be fantastic to make some money with YouTube. That's my goal. Please help me out. Please, please. Just all I ask is you hit subscribe. If you want to jump the gun and help me out financially, I do have a Patreon account set up. You can go to patreon.com/letshittheroadjack and become a patron on Patreon. Of course, you can contact me on all of my other YouTube outlets as well, all my social media outlets, including Facebook and Twitter, here on YouTube, Patreon, and you can even watch me play video games on Mixer once in a while, mixer.com/ItsJackTime. Of course, if you want to play with me on Xbox, time is limited for that, but my gamertag is ItsJackTime. So check it out. All my links in the description below on my YouTube view page. Check that out. Just please hit subscribe. That's all I ask for now. Got to get those subscriber counts up, okay? Thank you so much, by the way. I do really appreciate all my views. I get a lot of views. I just need the subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please take the time to do that. Helps me out a lot. All right. let's get into Monday Night Raw, thoughts and reviews. And I'm going to grab my laptop here. So if I'm looking down, I'm going to be reading off of my laptop, which is right here. My old laptop that I bought at Walmart years ago. So we're going to read some of the stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw, give you my thoughts and reviews. So kicking off Monday Night Raw, the main event kind of was the boss and the baddest woman on the planet. Mix it up before the WWE Royal Rumble. So it says 6 nights before colliding for the Raw Women's title at Royal Rumble, Sasha Banks and Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey teamed up with their best friends in tag team action. Immediately, my thoughts are why. We'll get into that in a minute. Find out why it could be boss time for the Rowdy One in Phoenix this Sunday. I am looking forward to that match. It's going to be a good match. So let me scroll down. So the show kicks off. Finn Balor and Braun Strowman confronted Mr. McMahon and Brock Lesnar. Now, we all know the story, if you pay attention to wrestling, how the McMahons came up and they decided to do away with all these authority figures like Baron Corbin and too many authority figures. They finally did away with that, with the exception of Vince McMahon himself, all the McMahons. So there's Vince, Shane, and Stephanie, and then, of course, Triple H. Now, that particular Raw, when Vince McMahon came out and then he introduced Triple H, God, I was hoping he was going to pass the torch. He was going to go just focus on the XFL and pass the torch to Triple H and let him run the show. He's ready. He's proven that he's ready. And Mr. McMahon, all the respect in the world for the great thing you've built. But, man, it's time to pass the torch, brother. Telling you, man. I'm a big Vince McMahon fan, but, man, I don't think you are in touch with what a modern-day wrestling audience wants to see. You're not in touch. Triple H is. Look at NXT. It's just the way it is. But anyway, Finn Balor and Braun Strowman confronted Mr. McMahon and Brock Lesnar. Now, they did the big shakeup for the year. The ratings are in the toilet, so the McMahons came out. They did away with the authority figures, and turns out they're going to be taking over. Now they're going to be in charge. But once again, the problem with that is the wrestling fans already know you've been in charge the whole time. The Raw general manager, Baron Corbin, he's a general manager on screen only. He's not a general manager of anything in real life. He's a wrestler. He's an on-screen talent. He's not a general manager. So the fact that you come out and tell us you're taking back the control, you've been in control the whole time. As a matter of fact, you're part of the problem. You're the one rewriting these shows, Vince McMahon. So, I mean, there's your writing problem right there, personified in Vince McMahon. That you think that the wrestling fans are stupid, and they don't realize that it's really Vince McMahon that's writing this stuff and his team of writers. It's not Baron Corbin. Give me a break. That's the whole problem with this. Wrestling fans know the truth. They're not stupid. That's just an example of the problems with WWE. Anyway, with that being said, Mr. McMahon also realized their ratings are in the toilet. They need to make changes. All Elite Wrestling's coming up. A lot of wrestlers want to go to All Elite Wrestling. They're going to be competition if they don't do something. So they took Braun Strowman, who was just terrible. Screwed up a promo big time a week or two ago, and it looked like he forgot his lines on live television, or I don't know what happened. Maybe he didn't get the right cues from somebody. Who knows? But you just standing there saying nothing for like minutes. And then all he can say is, "Get these hands." It was just terrible. It was awful. So anyway, Braun Strowman, his character's killed, so they pulled him out of the main event of Royal Rumble and did a fatal four-way, and the winner was going to go on to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. My opinion is Brock Lesnar needs to drop that belt. People are sick of this part-timer holding the belt hostage. It makes the belt worth absolutely nothing. It's worthless. So I think that's what needs to happen. Whether or not they'll do that before WrestleMania remains to be seen. But Finn Balor, his character since NXT, also been ruined. He was the first ever Universal Champion and had to surrender it due to injury. And ever since then, man, he's been a smiling doofus. Kind of dorky looking on TV. He's been put in bad matches, stupid feuds nobody wants to see. The Demon is nowhere to be seen. So we'll see. I'm hoping they bring the Demon in on Sunday against Brock Lesnar, but it's not looking like they're going to. But anyway, I am happy to see Finn Balor back in the main event picture. I hope he wins and gets this title off of Brock Lesnar, who only shows up a few times a year. As far as Brock Lesnar goes, do they want him as champion going into WrestleMania? Well, maybe not. Brock Lesnar is an attraction by himself as far as the mainstream audience goes. He doesn't need to have the title on him for people to want to see Brock Lesnar. Who's he going to wrestle at WrestleMania? That's going to be interesting. But so anyway, let's go into why Finn Balor and Braun Strowman confronted Mr. McMahon and Brock Lesnar. Now, I was surprised to see Braun Strowman come out because if you're taken out of the main event picture, what are you doing? Finn Balor's out there, Brock Lesnar, that's going to be the match. Now, why are they having Braun Strowman come out? I don't understand. His character's dead. Fans are losing interest in him. Why are you still having him hang around this main event picture? I don't get it. I don't understand. So let's read what happened here, okay? By the way, I'm reading off of WWE.com, and so the writing, whoever writes these articles, it's just terrible. Full of puns and nicknames, and like they call Daniel Bryan the Beard. You know, every single wrestler doesn't have to have a nickname and a catchphrase. Every wrestler doesn't, or theme music for that matter. You know, it's overkill. Anyway, let's read it. Ready or not, Finn Balor is facing Brock Lesnar for the Universal title on Sunday. And the question is, do you believe? Triple H believes. I don't think Vince McMahon does, but he's got to make changes because your ratings are in the toilet. So I think he's finally listening to some of the people that are telling him, Mr. McMahon, we need to make changes. Mr. McMahon doesn't believe in fairy tales. Got that right. So safe to say he's out of the Balor Club. Braun Strowman is looking past the Royal Rumble to give these hands. Oh, God. I told you the writing was bad. To whomever is still standing. Now, already, is that a match I want to see? Do I want to see Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar? Let's say Brock Lesnar wins. Am I looking forward to that match with the next pay-per-view? What is that, Elimination Chamber? Who wants to see that? Terrible. Already I'm tuned out. Or, okay, let's say Finn Balor wins. Do I want to see Finn Balor against Braun Strowman? No, I don't. You know, Braun Strowman's just a giant walking gimmick who flips vehicles. That's his gimmick. And he says, get these hands. And then he goes, Raw! And that's his whole gimmick. That's it. He can't wrestle worth a damn. Why do I want to see any more matches with Brock Lesnar? You know, you could have pushed him as a big monster when he was hot. What was that, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? He was iron hot. You could have, that was the time to do it. Not now. He's screwing up promos and forgetting his lines, and terrible. All right. So already I'm not looking forward to that. Why is Braun Strowman even out there? And I'm fearing the worst already. I'm going, oh God, they're not going to make this a number one contender match. Finn Balor against Braun Strowman. The winner gets Brock Lesnar next week. You're a week out, man. Match is set. Why is Braun Strowman out there? I don't know. Lesnar and Paul Heyman are impressed with their upstart challenger, but they're predicting martyrdom all the same. Okay. But Balor believes. Oh boy. wouldn't you say Braun Strowman believes in himself too? As well as Brock Lesnar, as well as Paul Heyman, as well as anybody that goes in the ring? Of course they believe in themselves, or they wouldn't be in the ring. Stupid. Granted, that's what happens when you beat John Cena to make it to the dance. But as the extraordinary man, there you go with your nickname, explained in a show opening brouhaha, who writes this garbage? I'm sorry. Let's get through it. His self-belief was there long before he pinned the GOAT, greatest of all time. Referring to Brock Lesnar, I suppose. Can we get rid of this GOAT thing? How many greatest of all times are there? Come on, overkill. And it's unlikely to abate anytime soon, as he promised Strowman he'd succeed where the monster failed and take the title from Lesnar. That didn't quite make the chairman a believer, but it was enough to pique his interest and sanction Balor versus Strowman, and a match he predicted would be very interesting. Now, I'm surprised he didn't make it a #1 contender match. Why have Finn Balor wrestle Braun Strowman? Now, I guess it fits in with the storyline that Braun Strowman feels cheated, that he was just taken out of the match, and now he wants revenge, so I guess it kind of makes sense in the storyline, right? That doesn't mean fans want to see it, really. But Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman. Now, despite all of that, I thought this was a decent match. Had some great spots in it. Let's get into it. For a moment, let's say that Finn Balor can defeat Brock Lesnar. How would he do it? The Irishman's bout with Braun Strowman, something of a show-me match orchestrated by a skeptical Mr. McMahon, gave some clues. As the commentary team suggested, by the way, commentary was atrocious during this show. Horrible. All three people. Renee Young, I'm sorry, you're great. You're fantastic as an interviewer and a pre-show host. Amazing. Big fan. But behind the desk on Monday Night Raw, I don't know, boy. And then, yeah, just terrible. All right, where was I? As the commentary team suggested, stick and move is the obvious answer. And indeed, that strategy paid dividends as the first ever Universal Champion whittled his monstrous opponent down to his knees, much to the begrudging admiration of Lesnar at ringside. Lesnar was ringside watching this whole thing. Now, right away, wrestling fans aren't stupid. They're going to allow Brock Lesnar to be ringside. What are the repercussions if he interferes? How about you're stripped of the title? If you interfere in this match, you're stripped of the title. Or if you interfere in this match, you lose your Royal Rumble match. Something like that. He's just allowed to be ringside where, duh, he's going to interfere. Duh. He's got no reason to not interfere, right? There's no repercussions. He's not going to be fined. We all know it's coming, right? Right. Strowman tossed Finn into the waiting arms of a suplex-happy conqueror. That was a great spot, by the way. He just got kind of pushed off the apron, landed right in Brock Lesnar's arms, who gave him a belly-to-belly overhead suplex onto the floor. It was fantastic. That was a great spot. Instigated a three-way scramble that ended with Balor blasting Lesnar with a running dropkick into the barricade. Finn rode his hot hand to the cusp of a coup de grace against Strowman, only for Lesnar to roar back with an F5 to the Irishman, ending the match in a disqualification victory for his challenger. The move had the outward appearance of an overreaction by a beast looking to mark his territory. But maybe, however narrow, a path to victory exists. So I thought it was a decent match. I still don't understand why Braun Strowman was involved at all, other than to tell the story that Braun Strowman felt cheated, that he was taken out of the main event. He didn't really express that towards anybody. He just said, I'll be waiting for whoever wins the match after the Royal Rumble. Like, wouldn't you come out, wouldn't you be pissed at Vince McMahon? And by the way, they directed his anger towards, of all people, Baron Boring. Baron Corbin didn't take him out of the match. Vince McMahon did. Who wrote this? Did you forget who took him out of the match? It wasn't Baron Corbin. How can Baron Corbin take him out of any match? He's not the general manager anymore. Vince McMahon is running the show. So I don't know how they got that into the script, or maybe it was just Braun Strowman forgetting his lines again. I don't know what happened there. It wasn't Baron Corbin. It was Vince McMahon. So that was confusing. But other than to tell that story and to tell him maybe he wanted revenge against Finn Balor for taking his spot. But they didn't really convey that. It was just... it was confusing why Braun Strowman came out in the first place. And then Vince McMahon orchestrated the match because he doesn't believe that Finn Balor can beat Brock Lesnar. And wanted to see him beat a beast, a big guy like Brock Lesnar in Braun Strowman. So, some holes in the storyline, but I guess it makes some sense. The actual match had some good spots. It was decent. So, looking forward to the Royal Rumble, and I'm hoping Finn Balor, A, comes out as the beast. Don't think he will. But B, hoping that he wins the match against Brock Lesnar. And make sure you come back and tune in to my Royal Rumble preview video to see who I actually think will win the match. Going to be very interesting. So I am actually looking forward to that match. All right, here we go. Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. Got some things to say about this. I'm going to sneeze in a second, so bear with me. I feel it coming. Woo, excuse me. Sorry about that. All right. The Intercontinental Championship represents hard-earned validation for Bobby Lashley. But some superstars aren't exactly sold on the Almighty just yet. There we go with another nickname, the Almighty. A dumb one at that. Oh, boy. Apollo Crews, who narrowly missed out on the title on New Year's Eve when he challenged then-champion Dean Ambrose, stepped up to the imperious title holder and goaded his way into a match by mocking Lashley in a pose down. And atop Lashley's custom podium, no less. Now this whole segment was dumb. It reminded me back of, if you remember back in, I think it was the 80s, there was a super pose down. Was that at the SummerSlam? Super pose down, and that was between, maybe it was on Superstars of Wrestling. It led to a match, but it was the Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude. There was a super pose down, and those are superstars that the fans were into. Ultimate Warrior was awesome. Ravishing Rick Rude was awesome. Like him or hate him, but physical conditioning was amazing. And they had a super pose down, and the result of that super pose down was Ravishing Rick Rude had this little exercise bar that would bend, you know, and he was in between doing the poses. He would warm up with this thing, you know. And so Bobby the Brain Heenan squirted water or oil or something into the Ultimate Warrior's eyes, and Ravishing Rick Rude comes from behind with the exercise bar and clobbers him, and led to a match, you know. But that was entertaining. It was really entertaining. Now, physical conditioning aside, I mean, Bobby Lashley is phenomenal. His condition, as well as Apollo Crews, they both look fantastic. Are the fans really into either one of these guys? Not really. Not really. I know they put the belt onto Bobby Lashley, the Intercontinental Championship. I think Dean Ambrose's character just kind of flopped. So I think they just wanted to get the title off of him, but put it on Bobby Lashley. He's got no character whatsoever. If it wasn't for Leo Rush as his mouthpiece, he's got no personality. If he would develop his personality, he was a badass in TNA. That's what they need to do. Stop making a mockery of him. More of a badass, kick-ass kind of personality. Make him meaner. He needs to work on it. He could be a really great heel. But right now, Leo Rash, feels like a rash when he talks on the microphone. Leo Rush is doing the heat, getting the heat for Bobby Lashley, much in the same way that Paul Heyman gets the heat for Brock Lesnar. So, by the way, Leo Rush, great wrestler in his own right on 205 Live. He's really entertaining. I like that guy. But anyways, they're doing a pose down on this stupid podium they put in the ring where Bobby Lashley stands on top of it, and They get the lights shining on him and stuff. And I got to say, though, the physical condition of Bobby Lashley is so impressive. Oh, my God. Just great. Amazing. Anyway, it says here, Cruz certainly had the goods to hang with Lashley, flitting around the Almighty and even pressing him over his head, albeit briefly, as the effort left Cruz with a tweaked lower back. They didn't really get much into the pose down. Apollo Crews did a pose, and Bobby Lashley came up behind him and attacked him, and that. Then we went to commercial break, and we came back, and we're in a match somehow, which I hate that. Why do they do commercials in the middle of matches? Or why don't they have someone come out and say, what's going on here? That's it. Get a referee out here. We're going to have a match after this commercial break. Then have the match. Don't put commercial breaks in the middle of matches. I don't get it. That being said, okay. So that's how the match started. Lio Rush, as ever, proved to be the equalizer, catching Cruz's attention and setting him up to be bulldozed by a spear, which Lashley administered while Apollo had the man of the hour pressed over his shoulders, another nickname. By the way, during the super pose down, Bobby Lashley, very impressive, very muscular, but who had all the personality? Apollo Crews had all the personality. He worked the crowd. He did this funny thing. He says, I don't know about posing, but I'll get up there. Okay, I'll do it. And he did these funny dances and stuff and did the poses. It was amazing. His personality just outshone Bobby Lashley by miles. It was great. So Bobby Lashley, man, step it up, dude. So back to the match. Even then, Lashley found himself upstaged once again. Yeah, he's upstaged by Apollo Crews. The Almighty's victory celebration was interrupted by Seth Rollins. Did he even say that he won? Who wrote this? He did a spear and then pressed them over his shoulders. And then they just go into a victory celebration. Yeah, Bobby Lashley won the match. Lashley, Almighty's victory celebration was interrupted by Seth Rollins, who locked eyes ominously with the champion as he approached the ring for his match with Drew McIntyre. Now, I don't know why they did this. Are they leading up to a match between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins? Is Seth Rollins going to go for the Intercontinental Championship? He would make a great Intercontinental Champion, by the way, if they're not going to make him the champion. By the way, I'm expecting, spoiler alert, I'm about to reveal my Royal Rumble pick. Seth Rollins, I think he's going to win it. If he's going to go win the Royal Rumble, he's going to be the main event at WrestleMania. So doesn't look like he's going to be going for the Intercontinental Champion, which might be a hint as to maybe he won't win the Royal Rumble. Maybe it'll be Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship at the Elimination Chamber. We'll see. But otherwise, if that's not the case, I don't know why they're teasing Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. It didn't lead to anything. It was kind of strange. Seth should tread lightly. If there's a lesson to be learned from Crews, it's that you disrespect Lashley at your own risk. This match did not grab my attention. I was not interested in it. Okay. Let's move on. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. So Seth Rollins comes out to the ring. Looking beyond the Royal Rumble for a moment, it might be time to give Seth Rollins serious consideration as a potential Universal title challenger. True, he's in the mix with superstars a lot bigger and stronger than he is, but as the Kingslayer explained in an address that evoked Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he has one ace in the hole: bone-deep passion and a burning desire to win the day. And lest you think that is just a downtrodden former champion trying to talk himself up, Rollins put his money where his mouth was by defeating Drew McIntyre. As dangerous a competitor as there is, and a champion in waiting, by all accounts, on the strength of those very intangibles. It would take nothing less to topple the Scottish psychopath who had Rollins completely and utterly outgunned in the power department. McIntyre made a show of ragdolling the Kingslayer across and outside the ring in the first half of the match, and later again down the stretch after the former WWE champion fought his way back into the match. Yet Rollins notched kick out after kick out and finally caught McIntyre by rolling him up and stacking himself completely on top of the Scot to make his size count for nothing and give Rollins' heart the last word. All right, this was a good match. I would say it was on the positive side of a good match. I don't think it was amazing or a 5-star match or anything, but it was on the positive side of a good match. And the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Man, stop chanting that. Every match isn't awesome. This was a good match. Nothing to take away from the match. But was it a 5-star classic? No. At least. By the way, the crowd there. Where was this? I forget what city this was in. Other than this match, they were kind of into this match, but the crowd was horrible. They were sitting on their hands. Terrible crowd. But this match did get a "This is awesome" chant. Good match. This was one of the best matches of the show, I thought. Very good. This can be interesting to see what happens with Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble. All right, now, show starts to go downhill at this point. I thought, the first match was decent. Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman, even though I didn't care to see Braun Strowman. It was a decent match. Had some good spots. Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews didn't really care about. The pose-off was stupid. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre was a good match. I liked it. Show goes downhill after that. Terrible. So I go from that match to the Lucha House Party versus Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers. Oh boy! Who wants to see this match? Do I hear crickets chirping? Yeah, exactly. Bathroom break. I automatically not interested in this. Now, that being said, I've said it before. I am a Jinder Mahal fan. Take away the Singh brothers. He's great. When he was WWE champion, I was a fan of his. His physical conditioning is amazing. A lot of people think he's doing steroids. I don't know if he is or not, but he's really stepped it up with his physical conditioning. Despite his heel character, he was kind of an honest guy. Said what he was going to do, didn't lie. Then they brought in the Singh brothers and made a whole mockery of the whole thing. And it's just a laughing joke. I don't want to see the Singh brothers. Jinder Mahal is a greater heel by himself than these jokers, the Singh brothers. Awful. Terrible. And of course, nobody wants to see the Lucha House Party. Now, not taking anything away from their ability to put on a great match. And their athleticism, especially Kalisto. Big fan of theirs in NXT. But again, they make a laughing joke out of this Lucha House Party with their house party rules that they finally did away with. But anyway, here goes this match that nobody cares about. I don't even remember what happened. Wasn't interested at all. What can possibly upset Jinder Mahal's inner peace? Stop it with that whole thing where he's meditating. Stop it. It's stupid. It's dumb. Nobody wants to see it. We want to see wrestling, not gimmicks. Just like the new XFL coming up. Is it going to be like the old XFL? No, they're doing away with the gimmicks. This wrestling's going to have some gimmicks, okay? But it's way over the top, man. Stop it. Can you give us a serious wrestling product, please? That fans take seriously. I want to tell my friends, hey, watch wrestling, but then they watch it and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Stop. Give us a serious product. We want wrestling. Don't embarrass me. Stop embarrassing me, WWE. All right. So what can upset his inner peace? Thus far, the Maharaja, another nickname, has been kept his cool through defeats, humiliations, and a stressful run through the Mixed Match Challenge. By the way, Season 1 of the Mixed Match Challenge was really good. I enjoyed it. Nobody cared about this Mixed Match Challenge. It was a disaster. Why are we still bringing up Mixed Match Challenge matches? But a flash defeat from the Lucha House Party seemed to finally test the patience of the former WWE Champion. The win was especially frustrating since he was teaming with the Singh brothers. And the speed of Sunil and Samir, the Singh brothers, helped Mahal keep pace with the trifecta of luchadors. But Grand Metalik stunned everybody by notching the pin with a tilt-the-world backbreaker, leaving the Maharaja fuming at ringside. Kalisto, meanwhile, was all smiles following his team's win, and good thing too. He'll need positive vibes when he heads into the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Cruiserweight title on Sunday. Now that's going to be cool. We'll get into that. That's a 205 live show for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think Kalisto will do well there solo without the Lucha House Party and stop making a mockery of him. And here he is in the main event, 205 live main event for the Cruiserweight Championship. I like it. He's a fantastic competitor when he's on his own and he's booked correctly and you can take him seriously. I love Kalisto. I love the Lucha and NXT. I love those guys in NXT, excuse me. Next. So this match did not care one bit about. Meant absolutely nothing. Thrown together match. Who cares? It's just like they had to put something on TV. They got 3 hours to kill. Let's just throw this match together. There's so many other things they could do. That's what I don't get. They got EC3 being shown quickly in the background. Why don't they have him do a promo or start a feud instead of showing him for 5 seconds posing, and then they put this match on? I mean, there's so many different things they could do than the garbage matches. Here we are, Baron Boring versus Elias. Let's see if they get into Elias's. He did a song before the match. Let's see if they get into that on this review. Love him or hate him, you have to admit that Baron Boring, that's what I call him, Baron Boring, is not going gently into the purgatory that has swallowed up many a deposed general manager, unfortunately. Go away. In the wake of his firing, terrible storyline, at least, you know, the whole thing about him being general manager and him getting fired and Vince McMahon coming out and firing him is that we wouldn't have to hear his awful promos anymore. Nope, he's still out there doing promos still. So what's the point? That's why your ratings are in the toilet, partially. This guy, he's horrible. Okay. In the wake of his firing, the lone wolf has been a persistent thorn in the side of his enemies and authority alike. And Elias in particular can't seem to shake him, despite his best efforts. Granted, the Living Truth, there's another nickname. Everybody doesn't have to have a nickname. Stop it, please. It's stupid. The Living Truth added to Corbin's humiliation in song. And nearly leveled him with a guitar, but Corbin got the last laugh in the ensuing match. Now, in the song, he mentions two things that I thought were great. First of all, he mentioned, which I forget exactly how the song goes, but it was really good. He says, who wants to see another Elias and Baron Corbin match? Right? Thank you. And then secondly, he says, you were fired. Don't you remember you were fired? Why are you still wearing that stupid vest? Thank you. That's what we're all thinking. We don't want to see this match. And B, we don't want to see you wearing a stupid vest that you're supposed to be the general manager coming out wearing a vest and slacks. And you're still, I thought you were fired. Why are you not wearing wrestling gear? Go back to your wrestling gear. You know, back when he was in NXT, I still called him Baron Boring because he didn't have any personality. His personality, yeah, he developed a personality, but it's an annoying one. It's not the kind of personality people want to see. He was developing nicely in NXT, but before he got called up, he's still Baron Boring, but his ring skills were getting better, and he was becoming more of a badass. I mean, he was improving in the right direction. And then he comes to Raw, and they make him this assistant GM or whatever his role was, general manager elect. You don't elect a general manager, by the way. That was stupid. General manager elect. And they just ruined his direction he was going in, where he's just annoying and nobody wants to hear him talk. Nobody wants to see him on TV to this day. And he's still doing promos and still doing matches and still wearing slacks and a vest. People don't want to see that. Vince McMahon, listen. You want to shake things up? Look, take Baron Corbin off of TV for maybe 3 months. redevelop his character, have him re-debut as a badass wrestler. Stop giving him the mic for annoying promos. Make him more mean and mysterious and silent, the silent badass that's going to kick your ass, like The Undertaker. Just saying. What you're doing now is not working. I don't know why you're sticking with it. All right. The Living Truth added to Corbin's humiliation in song. Okay, we got that. Despite booming chants of "You got fired" from the WWE Universe. Why don't you chant "Go away, go away, go away," or something else, instead of feeding into the stupid "You got fired" storyline? He didn't get fired, folks. He did not get fired. They changed his role on television. You get that, right? Maybe some fans are into this storyline because they're feeding right into it with this "You got fired" chant. I don't know. I'm not buying into it. The Lone Wolf kept his cool, jabbed Elias in the throat behind the ref's back, and hit the End of Days for the win. Why are they pushing Corbin when you got Elias? Everybody's behind Elias. Everybody wants to see Elias win. Why don't you make Elias the Intercontinental Champion instead of Bobby Lashley? How about an Elias versus Lashley match? There you go. But nope, they're going to keep pushing this Baron Boring. He may have been fired, but Baron Boring clearly isn't going anywhere. Oh, great. Wonderful. Because that's what I want to see. Oh, God. Oh, boy. All right, let's get into this. Now, they did another... This was so god-awful. This was so terrible. Another one of these Moment of Bliss segments. Boy, these are... which I think this might be the last one, I'm hoping, because these are so terrible. So cringeworthy. Oh, makes you want to change the channel. It's one of these embarrassing things that I was just talking about. If I told my friend to go watch wrestling and turned on a Moment of Bliss, oh. Why would I want to subject anybody to that? Interesting news came out of this, though. As bad as the segment was, which was terrible, terribly bad, it made a mockery of the whole women's division. But let's get into what happened. For the second straight week, a Moment of Bliss played host to an appearance from an NXT veteran. Though luckily, it was neither member of Heavy Machinery this time, which I didn't see that segment. I heard about it. By the way, Heavy Machinery, we'll get into that. I think they have a match coming up on this card here. The superstar in question was Lacey Evans. Now, she came out at the end of this segment, but they're jumping ahead. Making her most prominent Raw appearance to date at the end of a contentious confrontation between several previously announced contestants in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Okay, so are they even going to get into this? No. So a Moment of Bliss started, and out comes her guest. It was supposed to be, oh boy, everyone's favorite, Nia Jax. Oh Lord. So Nia Jax comes out, grabs the mic. Last thing anyone wants to see is Nia Jax holding a microphone. No, nobody wants to see any more of that, believe me. Oh boy, did this Raw go downhill quick. So she grabs the microphone. She's about to say something. Just god-awful interaction between her and Alexa Bliss. And before she can say a single word, out comes... oh gosh, who was it? Oh, it was Ember Moon. Comes out and snatches the microphone right away from Nia Jax. And I was going, yes! Last thing we want to hear is Nia Jax on the microphone. Anyway, she comes out, and then, out comes Mickie James, and let me grab my notes. Okay, let's see all the people that came out. Oh, by the way, we'll get into that in a minute. So Alicia Fox comes out. Boy, what a stupid character she is. The captain of the women's division. I've never been a fan of Alicia Fox. I think she's terrible. Riot Squad came out, and they all erupted into a brawl eventually. And there's Alexa Bliss going, "You can't erupt into a brawl. You'll make a mockery of my reputation as a real legitimate talk show host." Are you kidding me? Your show is your segment is awful to begin with. You're obviously not comfortable. Your flow is off. It's just not working. Alexa Bliss, I'm sorry. You're not the greatest wrestler, but I am a fan of you in the ring because you've got all the personality you have in your matches and all the the personality. Something maybe you should get with Bobby Lashley and teach him a thing or two about when he wrestles. Anyway, so let's get into what happened. So they all brawl. It spills into the backstage area. The lady of NXT, we're talking about Lacey Evans, made her appearance known after almost the entire women's division brawled their way from the stage to the locker room area and stole the thunder from Alexa Bliss herself, who, big news right here, announced her return to in-ring competition by throwing her own hat in the Rumble. Yes! She's back! She's back! Awesome. I love it. Back to the ring. Alexa Bliss. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm a fan of Alexa Bliss. Fantastic. Looking down her nose at the nasty, classless little girls and the sawed-off little girly runt at her side. I like that line, by the way. Evans announced her own entry into the contest, the Royal Rumble, promised victory, and let's be honest, not a hair was out of place while she did it. I like this Lacey Evans. I do. I was a fan of hers in NXT. She got called up. I like this whole 1920s classy lady kind of look. She's tall. She looks athletic. In-ring skills could probably improve, but I love her character. I love it. It's awesome. So looking forward to that. Do I think she's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble? No. But we'll get into that later. All right, we get into this. Heavy Machinery versus the Ascension. Now, I loved Heavy Machinery in NXT, but I see the writing on the wall already. Even before they were called up, when Heavy Machinery gets to the main roster, they're just going to be a joke, another joke team. Comedy skits. Stakes and weights, baby. You know, doing funny stuff. They're going to be... so this is their in-ring debut, but they did a gimmicky kind of thing on Moment of Bliss show. And they're going to be stuck in doing comedy skits, and no one's going to take them seriously. Even if they win the Tag Team Championship or not, the Tag Team Championship at this moment in time is a laughing joke. The whole Tag Team division on Monday Night Raw. So here's Heavy Machinery. Of course, they're just coming up fresh out of NXT. Everybody loves them. They're looking great. They're looking fantastic. But it's just a matter of time before they make a laughing joke out of Heavy Machinery on the main roster. We all know it. I see it coming. They've already started it last week on the Moment of Bliss show when Heavy Machinery was doing stupid stuff. I enjoyed this match. We'll talk about it here. Last week, the WWE Universe got to see what makes Heavy Machinery unique. This week, they got to see what makes them shine. True. The Big Bulls got their first taste of in-ring action on Raw in a bout against fellow heavy hitters, the Ascension. By the way, I'll talk about both of these teams in a second. And they didn't waste any time besieging the Wasteland, there's another nickname, with a deluge of stakes and weights. Yuck, 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 stakes and weights. Oh, Jesus. That the former NXT Tag Team Champions were helpless to stop. Heavy Machinery used their own bodies as battering rams in an unorthodox display that culminated in Otis, how do you say his last name? Otis Dozovic's Caterpillar elbow drop and their tag team finishing mover, the Compactor, which allowed Tucker Knight to score the pin. Who knows where they'll end up in the long run, but this will certainly be fun. Now, this was a great fun match. He did a funny dance move, kind of hopping elbow drop thing. And you could tell the commentary team just was ruining the spot by just making a laughing joke out of it. And then he did the caterpillar thing. He does like the worm, like Scotty 2 Hotty did the worm back in the day, and did the elbow drop, which is entertaining and it's right, but they're just going to have him do this comedy stuff in the ring and outside of the ring, and they're just never going to be taken seriously. And they're fun to watch for now, coming up out of NXT, but it's just a matter of time before it's going to be cringe fest. But anyway, no surprise, they won their debut match on Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the Ascension, one of the greatest tag teams coming out of NXT, the Ascension. Here they are, just the tag team jobbers. Sad to see. Yeah, they were a great tag team in the NXT, but now they're just jobbers and a laughing joke in the main roster. I think when they first came up from NXT, they did this promo that offended some of the legends, and somebody got insulted, and ever since they've been in the garbage. Okay, next match. Raw Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus The Revival. The Burial. Let's call them The Burial. What should we call these guys? The Burial? Special guest referee Curt Hawkins. At least something interesting came out of this at the end. Let's get into it. The match itself wasn't really it was kind of interesting. But Curt Hawkins. Despite finagling a Raw Tag Team Championship match from Mr. McMahon, this was earlier in the night, the Revival was pleading with Mr. McMahon. They wanted another shot at the Tag Team Championships. Oh, well, you've lost too many times, Mr. McMahon says. Well, what if we get a special referee? And they're and throughout this whole promo, you heard in the background someone going, excuse me, Mr. McMahon, excuse me. And you didn't know who it was. He was off camera, right? Turns out it was Curt Hawkins. The Revival missed out on the titles by the narrowest of margins, thanks largely to some shenanigans involving the referee. Sounds familiar, but it's not. While Dash and Dawson convinced the chairman they'd fallen short of the tag titles largely due to inattentive officiating, this time they were doomed by a ref who was wise to their tricks. That would be Curt Hawkins. Now, this match started. Okay, in the backstage segment, oh, hey, man, the Revival were buttering up Curt Hawkins, trying to get him on their side. Mr. McMahon appointed Curt Hawkins as special guest referee as a way to give the Revival an unbiased official and present the Queen's native with a potential fresh start after a losing streak that had gotten too long to justify giving him a match. Talking about Curt Hawkins. How many matches did he lose in a row? That's his gimmick. He's on a losing streak. Hawkins was a natural in the stripes. Now, that's true. He looked really great as a referee, as a matter of fact. If they made him a full-time referee, man, he was really good. I'll give him that. But Curt Hawkins, the match started off as the tag team champions, Bobby Roode. Chad Gable went to tag Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode wasn't holding the tag rope. So Curt Hawkins didn't allow the tag. Now, right away you're thinking, oh, I see. He's on the side of the Revival. It's going to be biased, right? Turns out, no. Hawkins, where are we? Okay, Hawkins was a natural in the stripes, catching not one, not two, but 3 attempts at chicanery from the top guys, the Revival, another nickname, that would have otherwise won them the match. He was on his game, man. He caught, the Revival tried to cheat, which, by the way, if you're trying to push the Revival, see, that's why I'm going to call them the Burial, because they don't need to cheat. They're a fantastic tag team. They don't need to cheat to win. But I guess the storyline is they're trying everything they can to win a match because they've been getting screwed left and right. By the way, which is true on screen and off. It's sad, man. One of the greatest tag teams to come out of NXT, and they're just being buried on the main roster. Don't get it. So anyway, Kurt Hawkins catching all these cheating attempts, not allowing the pin. Chad Gable eventually notched the pin on Dawson with a sunset flip roll-up. And no amount of instant replay could convince the Revival they hadn't been bamboozled. So tag team champions get the pin. The burial continues of the burial. I'm going to call them the burial, not the Revival. Because they need to be revived, boy. By the way, the Revival, that's one of the tag teams that asked for their release from WWE. Obviously, they weren't granted, at least not immediately. But no one's going to be surprised when they show up on All Elite Wrestling. And they want to wrestle the Young Bucks, which is going to be amazing. Everyone's looking forward to that. So, the two-time NXT Tag Team Champions mugged the Prince of Queens mercilessly, leading to a surprise save from none other than Zack Ryder, who bulldozed the top guys out of the ring and helped Hawkins to his feet. Wow, as Zack Ryder on Raw. He's another guy that everyone's talking about should run over to All Elite Wrestling. Talk about a patient man. A man that's deserved a push for so long. Man, at least a mid-card push. Intercontinental Championship. They gave him the championship at WrestleMania for one day. And then had him lose it on Raw. What a joke. Not a joke about Zack Ryder, but a joke on WWE. That they would book something like that and ignore Zack Ryder all these years. Hopefully they're at least paying the guy well. Now this is going to be interesting. Hopefully they're going to reform. They were a tag team back in the day. And Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, hopefully they're going to reform and maybe have a winning streak, a tag team winning streak, and go for the tag team championships. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? Funnily enough, Ryder and Hawkins were WWE Tag Team Champions back in the day, and while Mr. McMahon slammed one door shut for the beleaguered superstar, another may have finally opened. Now that's a very interesting turn of events. I'm actually genuinely interested to see what develops between Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Even though it's at the expense of the Revival, who I'm going to call the Burial. They've got one foot out the door, man. Who would be happy being booked like that anyway? I don't blame them for wanting to leave. Terrible. Okay, on to the main event. They're calling it the Boss and Hug Connection. Oh, Lord. Who comes up with this garbage? It's terrible. By the way, Bayley, maybe it's time to lose the hugging gimmick. It worked great in NXT, but once again, the writers on the main roster, they come up with a nickname like this, the Boss and Hug Connection. Let's lose the hugging gimmick. Versus Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Now, my thoughts on this match. Okay, of course we got the Royal Rumble coming up, and the Women's Championship match is going to be The Boss, which is fantastic. Nobody expected this. Sasha Banks getting a title shot at the request of Ronda Rousey. Much respect from Ronda Rousey, however, it's a pretty good storyline with Sasha Banks saying, "Hey, I don't need your support. I don't need you to give me a push. I'm a multi-time former women's tag team champion. I've been here for years. You just show up and got handed everything on a silver platter. I've earned my way to the top." That's a great storyline right there. I love it. And let's get into the match. Well, before we do, I'm a little bit confused about what they're doing here. Now, a couple ways to look at it. You got Ronda Rousey, her tag team champion is Natalya. Now, they're friends. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they're friends all the way back to NXT. So, okay, but the match at the Royal Rumble is Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks. Natalya is not in the title match, and neither is Bayley. So why are they in this match? I don't understand. I can see the face-off between the two for the match. Okay, they want to do it. It's not the title match. It's a tag team match to build anticipation. The other two women are in the Women's Royal Rumble match. But I don't understand why they're in the main event. They're not involved in the title picture, so I don't quite understand why Natalya and Bayley are in this match. a little confusing on that part for me. As other vloggers have mentioned, maybe they should have done, instead of a match, done some kind of a promo, like UFC style promo. JD from New York, I'm looking at you. By the way, if you haven't seen JD from New York's rants on wrestling, the guy's fantastic. Watch his channel, please. I watch him all the time. He's great. So shout out to you, JD. But anyway, this, he said they should do a UFC title, kind of sit down at a table, moderated kind of promo, which would be fantastic. And I kind of have to agree with them. They did that recently on NXT, and it worked brilliantly. It was fantastic. They could have done something like that. I think that would have built up hype for the match much better than this match did. But let's get into it. After much consideration, Ronda Rousey would like to clarify she will not be apologizing to Sasha Banks. Despite the shaky, if mutual, respect at the outset of the road to the Royal Rumble, a series of escalating confrontations led the baddest woman on the planet to recast the Boss as a resentful also-ran during an interview before the main event tag team match that pitted Rousey and Natalya against the Boss and Hug Connection. I hate these nicknames. Excuse me. Banks retaliated on the mic, saying she earned her title match and claiming that the Raw Women's Champion has been handed everything since she came to WWE. Kind of true. And the Boss administered as many cheap shots as she could muster once the bell rang. By the way, that was a brilliant start to the match, that the cheap shot. With Sasha Banks ran over and did the cheap shot with Ronda Rousey on the apron, and got knocked off the match and just infuriated her, built a lot of heat. Infuriating the baddest woman on the planet was a bold strategy, but it seemed to pay off. Banks capitalized on Rousey, I almost said Rusev, capitalized on Rousey's relative inexperience and overt aggression to trap her in the Banks statement, which Natalya quickly broke up. Rousey, who dubbed herself the Boss's Boss, yeah, that's all right, in her pre-match tirade. You don't need to make it an ongoing nickname, though. Don't call her the Boss's Boss every week. It's fine, it works in this feud, but from now on, we don't need to call Ronda Rousey the Boss's Boss. Let's not do that, please. Eventually replied by catching Banks in the armbar, though the four-time women's champion narrowly escaped the hold by rolling to the ropes. Natalya tagged in and administered the sharpshooter on a depleted Banks, only for Bayley to break the hold and knock Rousey off the apron, teeing up the Boss to trap the Queen of Hearts in the Banks statement, earning her third consecutive tap-out with the signature maneuver. Oh, interesting. 3 tap-outs. Now that's interesting because Sasha Banks got the win, but she got the win on Natalya, not Ronda Rousey, and she got her submission hold at one time on Ronda Rousey. So leading up to the impression that Sasha Banks can indeed defeat Ronda Rousey, it gives me the impression that Ronda Rousey is going to win the match. I think now going into WrestleMania, I mentioned Brock Lesnar before, being a kind of a special attraction on his own. He doesn't need the belt, so he could drop it. In the case of Ronda Rousey, her ring skills are still improving. She's improving dramatically, and it's very impressive. But I really think they still want the title on her going into WrestleMania. So I think she's going to win the match. And plus the way they're building up to it, making you believe Sasha Banks might be able to win it. I think they're going to give the win to Ronda Rousey at the Royal Rumble, so she can go on to WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Champion. Lest anyone think tempers would cool after the match ended, rest assured they did not. Banks held on to the statement a beat too long for Rousey's liking, and champion and challenger went nose to nose as Raw went off the air, as Bayley, Natalya, and the officials struggled to keep them apart. Clearly no one will be apologizing come Sunday, but someone will be sorry. I thought this was a good match. Once again, I'm not sure why they have their tag team partners out there. Maybe they could have done something else to build this match, the hype for this match at the Royal Rumble. Again, shout out to JD. He mentioned, well, we've already seen Sasha Banks have her finishing hold on Ronda Rousey. What else is there to see now? We know she can beat her. But the question is, who's going to win and go into WrestleMania? I would be shocked if Sasha Banks wins this one. As much as she deserves it, as much as I would like to see it, I think Ronda Rousey's going to stay the champion. But that being said, I thought it was a good match. Some good spots in there. And I am looking forward to this match coming up at the Royal Rumble. Should be very interesting. So anyway, that's how Raw went off the air. What's my overall thoughts about Monday Night Raw? I thought it was some okay stuff in the beginning. The match at the end was okay. Okay to good. The positive side of good. Not great. But the beginning and the end sandwich a whole lot of crap. Overall, I'd have to say, it was on the bad side. Monday Night Raw was kind of, I wouldn't say terrible, but it wasn't that good, really, for the last Raw before the Royal Rumble. And the Royal Rumble card is looking pretty good. So I think there's a lot more they could have done to build the Royal Rumble. And for a go-home show, I thought it was lackluster and disappointing. So that's going to be my review of Monday Night Raw. Kind of disappointed with it. Yeah, it was okay, but I am looking forward to the Royal Rumble. So that's my thoughts on that. So anyway, that's probably going to wrap up my review of Monday Night Raw. What did you think of it? If I was to give it a grade letter, let's see. Overall, they had some good stuff. That's what I hate about this. They had some good stuff in it, but there's a whole lot of bad stuff in it too. So I'm going to have to give it C-. C-, which really takes away from the good stuff, which wasn't great, but it was good. It could have been, if everything matched the rest of the good stuff, I'd say it would be a solid B show, B-. Instead, it gets a C- because of all the bad stuff. C-. So, what do you think of the show? Let me know in the comments below. And we're going to wrap up this video. So, thanks again for watching. Once again, hit that subscribe button. Please, you really help me out by subscribing. If you watched to the end, thank you so much. It's a long video, going on almost an hour and a half. But good time. I love doing these videos. Stay tuned. I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to watch SmackDown. And then right after that, I'm going to record a SmackDown video. Should be uploaded sometime tonight as well. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching, you guys. And make sure you hit subscribe, please. Subscribe. I need those subscribers, please. And if you enjoy my wrestling videos, let me know. You can contact me in the comment section or on any of my social media outlets. Also in the description below. Check it all out. And don't forget, if you feel so inclined, you can also contribute, donate, as little or as much as you want on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Let'sHitTheRoadJack. And I would super appreciate any kind of support from that area. But most of all, just hit subscribe. It's free and it helps me out. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget, come on out this Sunday to Los Angeles and check out the Royal Rumble with me in person at, what's the name of that restaurant? Give me a second. It slipped my mind. Sometimes I have memory problems with names and faces. And Dave & Buster's, thank you. I don't know why I forget things sometimes, but Dave & Buster's this Sunday at 4 o'clock. I'll be there from 2 o'clock, starting at 2 o'clock, all the way to the end of the Royal Rumble, probably about 8 o'clock. Come on out and join me. Have a good time. Watch some wrestling and drink some beer, and we'll have a lot of fun, all right, you guys? So thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to sign off here. So we'll see you next time right here on Let's Hit the Ring Jack. That's me.